Welcome to Zamunda. Hello everyone and welcome back to Potty Plant Entertainment. My name is Chris and in case you don't know, I review movies and I rank them on a scale of 0 to 100 in increments of 5. Let's tilt that. Okay, so today I'm going to be reviewing Coming to America. Now, if you haven't seen the first one, I very much recommend it. It is a really, really good movie, and it is downright hilarious. I love the first Coming to America. It is so funny. It's such a hilarious and enjoyable film. I wouldn't, it's not up to the standards of like Ghostbusters or The Big Lebowski or anything, but it is a really good movie, and I really like it. And now, all these years later, they have finally released the unnecessary sequel that no one asked for. And I kind of wish they hadn't made it. But let's talk about it a little bit first. So, Coming to America stars Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, Sherry Headley, Jermaine Fowler, Leslie Jones, Tracy Morgan, and Wesley Snipes. It was directed by Craig Brewer, and it was produced by Valerie Ahn, Kenya Barris, Andy Berman, Bradley J. Fisher, Charcy M. Hewitt, Michelle Imparato, and Brian Oliver. And in this one, this takes place today in modern day, all these years later after the first one came out in like 1988. This takes place now, or maybe before Corona, I guess. I don't really know. Anyways, so Eddie Murphy learns that he has a long-lost son that lives in America because his father is dying, and so he's soon going to be the heir to the throne. However, Eddie Murphy doesn't have a son to replace him when he passes away. So he learns he has a long-lost son, and he travels to America to find him, bring him back, teach him how to be a prince so that he can take over the throne when Eddie Murphy, whatever it is, that he passes. The problem with that is that he has a lot of daughters, and so his oldest daughter feels like that she should be the one to take over. But because of the customs of the country, only a man can rule. And so this creates some tension between him and his family as this is going on. And he finds out that, and his son is like kind of street smart. And so he's not used to all this royal stuff. And so he sort of comes in and everyone like looks at him like, this guy's a doofus. He can't do this. So they have to teach him how to be a king and stuff. So anyways, so I watched this movie with my girlfriend and her family. And I think the majority opinion was that it wasn't that great. And I agree. It's not that great. I certainly like the first one much more than this. This is a great movie. I really love this movie. But this one, I don't think I'll ever watch this again. It's just, it's not that good. And I'll tell you why. But first I want to tell you the things I did like about it. So firstly, it is kind of enjoyable. I was pretty entertained throughout the runtime. I was never bored. I did enjoy, it had its moments, and I did enjoy it. Even though I didn't particularly like it that much, it did keep me entertained. Eddie Murphy and Wesley Snipes were great in this movie. I loved them in this movie. I like Eddie Murphy in anything. And Wesley Snipes was a lot of fun to watch in this as well. And it's not political. You probably might have gotten into this afraid that with all the, the social tensions that are in political tensions in America right now, that this movie would really try to force a message on you and cram it down your throat. But it doesn't. And I love that about this movie. It does not force a message down your throat. I really, really appreciated that about the movie. Because it so easily could have, but it didn't. And I love that about it. So, shout out to the filmmakers for making a movie that entertains audiences rather than crams a message down their throat. Because I really enjoyed that about this film. That's about all my pros for it, so let's get into my cons. So, there's this funeral scene early on in the movie, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like anything about it. I hated that scene. If you remember in the first movie, there's these old men that worked in a barbershop, and there was this old, perverted preacher. They're still alive, and they're still old. That movie came out in the late 80s. How would they still be alive? That makes no sense. Even though I liked seeing those characters again because they are funny characters, it makes no sense for them to be back. By the way, and Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall play two of the old men. Actually, Eddie Murphy plays two of the old men. Arsenio Hall plays one of them. He plays the barber and the white one as well, which is, you wouldn't guess that by looking at it, but I guess he's got some rubber prosthetics on or something. So I didn't really understand how the old men were still alive. It doesn't make any sense. There's this one line in the movie that Arsenio Hall says where he says, "I'm glad that your black president finally united your great country." Regardless of how you feel about Obama, you have to admit he did not unite America. America was pretty united before that because the political climate wasn't very high. People didn't really care that much about politics in America. But when Obama came along, people started to get a little bit more excited about politics, and so things started to get heated. And then when Trump came along, it's like the whole country just cracked down the middle. So for them to say that Obama united the country, and finally united the country, that's not true. You can like him, you can hate him, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care what your political views are. But you have to admit that America did not unite under Barack Obama. It did not. That's when the divide started. And so for them to say that, it was pretty obvious that they were just trying to say, hey, Obama's good. You know what I mean? So I didn't really like that. Even though I said this movie isn't political, that was about the only thing that I noticed with the movie that was trying to force a little bit of a message onto you. But if you like Obama, cool. If you don't, fine as well. I really don't care. I'm just saying America didn't unite under Barack Obama. Hopefully the country will unite again soon. It would be nice to see that. Another thing I didn't like about this movie was Leslie Jones. I don't like Leslie Jones. I'm sure she's a nice person and all. I just don't think she's funny. I didn't like her in this. I didn't like her in the Ghostbusters reboot. I just don't think she's funny. I don't personally. That's just my opinion. If you think she's funny, great. I have nothing against it. I'm just saying I personally don't think she's very funny. She just sort of goes for the loud, stereotypical black sense of humor, and that runs dry for me very quickly. There's also this scene in the movie where Eddie Murphy's son starts rapping, and that was just sort of a type of moment. Why was that in here? It didn't need that. It doesn't really build a father-son relationship as much as I wanted to. I really wanted to see the king and the prince build a father-son relationship. I wanted to see them grow really close and have lots of heartfelt moments, but they did have a little bit of it, but it's not as near as much as I wanted it to. There's also this moment where one of the characters, when they're in America, they need some cat food, and one of them's like, "Oh, I brought cat food from home." And I'm like, well, isn't that convenient? Why would you bring cat food from home? Why would you think you would need that? That makes no sense. It's also a pretty predictable movie as well. There were moments where I was like, yeah, I saw that coming. The movie really isn't all that funny. And a lot of the jokes are too on the nose. Like, the movie sort of treats us sometimes like we're too stupid to get the joke, so it has to explain the joke to us. That's why I miss movies like Men in Black. You can't see the poster, but I have a Men in Black poster here. And I miss movies like this. This was a great comedy. Because comedy used to be done right. But nowadays, it's like every comedy is either stupid or treats the audience like we're stupid. Can we please get... Where is it? Where is it? I can't find it. But I have The Big Lebowski. Can we please get The Big Lebowski back? Movies like that, movies like Ghostbusters, movies like Coming to America. Like, why does comedy have to be so bad now? Anyway, it's there's a romance in it between the son and like his personal aide, I think, it's very rushed and very forced, and there's like almost no build up to it at all. The movie's cheesy. There's an international conflict that's going on between Eddie Murphy and Wesley Snipes. There are two leaders of two different countries, and there's an international conflict going on there. And at the end of it, the whole thing is resolved with, like, one line. And I was like, well, that was very forced and rushed. It was very, very quick and very forced. And this movie relies on the first one way too much to propel the story. There's way too many times where they reference the first movie and use that to move the plot along. This movie had a very hard time standing on its own. This really isn't a very good movie. I don't hate it because, like I said, I was entertained while watching it, but it's bad. It is a bad movie. I was pretty disappointed by this, but I didn't hate myself while watching it. I don't think I'm ever gonna watch it again. So I'm going to give Coming to America a 50. A 50 out of 100. If you haven't seen the first movie before, I definitely recommend it because it is a really good movie. This didn't do it for me. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Potty Plant Entertainment for more. Hit the like button. Leave me a review, suggestions down in the comments down below. Follow me on Instagram at Potty Plant Entertainment for channel updates and at Tumblr because I post written reviews there. And much love.